I'm Kim Harding. I'm the founder of the Edinburgh Festival of Cycling, and I'm also on the board of the bike station. So the Edinburgh Festival of Cycling is a celebration of cycling in all its forms. So we try to make it as diverse as possible. So anything we can think of that involves wheels and human power pretty much goes in. So cycling is a way of solving a lot of society's ills, and yeah, we think it needs to be encouraged. It's a way of saving the world, effectively. I think we wanted to do good. We didn't want to go down the charity line because that seemed far too complicated, so social enterprise seemed to be the obvious way ahead. It's not about making big money, and it hasn't. It's about social good. It's about putting something back. So yeah, that's why we chose a social enterprise structure, because we wanted to be, doing good stuff. The aim is to encourage more people to cycle, but it's also to challenge people's perception of what cycling is and who it's for. So we try to, as I say, make it as diverse as possible, to bring in as many different angles as we can find. So we're bringing in art and culture, we've got film, we've got disabled cycling events, or all ability cycling events, I should say. So in this one we've got a film about a group of adaptive riders who are riding hand cycles across the Highlands. They go out mountain biking on hand cycles. So you get people saying, but what about the disabled? Well, here we've got people who are paraplegic, who are riding three-wheeled hand cycles doing mountain biking. There's a guy I want to get who I haven't managed to get him yet, but he used to be a BMX rider. He was doing a BMX show when he had a bad fall and broke his back. On being told he was paraplegic, he decided to be the best paraplegic he could be, and tried all sorts of things. Nothing worked until he found sit skiing, and he realised that the sit ski was similar to, it was basically a seat tube from a bike. He thought, well, can I try this on my mountain bike? So he was set it up with a mountain bike, got a couple of friends to launch him off the top of a downhill track and catch him in the bottom. And so he mountain bikes whilst with a broken back. He can't use his legs, but as long as it's downhill and he doesn't run out of speed, he can stay upright. So cycling is for everyone. So Edinburgh Festival of Cycling aims at helping everyone. It's aimed at wider society because it's a way of cycling is a way of dealing with so many society ills. We deal with climate change. So we promote cargo bikes as a car replacement vehicle. So you can take your emissions down to zero or near enough. We look at it as in terms of jobs. You can get quite high quality jobs in the cycle industry. I mean, it doesn't have to be poorly paid things. Yes, there are the cycle couriers, but it doesn't have to be that way. You can get good paid jobs. It can benefit society. Having higher cycling levels encourages people to shop locally, so it supports local businesses. There are so many ways in which it can help society. So yeah, we're trying to help everyone. Not long after we started up, it was the first time I'd started a business. So although I'd had other business experience before that, it's the first time I'd run one myself. So we came in as a new and aspiring member, and we got lots of business support through that. And we went through so there was a network of small social enterprises starting at the same time. And we went through a whole series of different courses, short structured courses, to introduce the different things. And it was really useful as a startup to get that level of support, which we weren't getting elsewhere, to be honest. Business Gateway are now doing more than they used to. I mean, it used to be Business Gateway, you had to go in things, but the online webinars make it much more accessible. Whereas the Social Enterprise Network, when we first came into it, was doing simple short courses in the evenings. It was great because they were small and they were relatively easy to get to, and it it was really very useful in getting that sort of business support when you're starting up. Although there wasn't any funding support, but yeah, then it is. Oh, Edinburgh is such a great city. What's not to love about it? Yeah, it's just got such a buzz. It's such a vibrant place. You've got an extinct volcano in the middle of it. You've got such diversity. You can get out to the Pentland Hills. You can get away. It's a place that people want to come to, so you're never short of visitors. It's just a great city. I think I need to leverage in some means of growing. I need to figure out how to grow. So yeah, some sort of mentorship would be useful. I was with the PCW Social Enterprise Club, and that was really good until the pandemic, and it also went rather quiet. I did used to have a mentor there, but that sort of faded out again around the pandemic. I never got back into it. So some sort of mentoring scheme would be useful. Yeah, it's looking for the resources. I mean, there's a lot that the network offers already, but it's other resources and trying to figure out how to grow, trying to get some advice on how to grow the organisation. Probably part of me wants to stand down, hand it on to somebody else. I need to find someone else to take over, because I feel I've taken as far as I can take it, but there's actually potential for it to go further. So it's finding out how to do that, how to get to the next step up, I suppose, and grow it into, because we're sort of in between stage. We are pretty much running as a full Edinburgh Festival, but we're not recognised as being an international event. So it's taking us on to that next stage, getting into international recognition and growing beyond. That's my biggest challenge at present. Getting it going again after 5 years. 2019 I was suffering burnout, so I was going to take 2020 off and just do pop-up events through 2020. That didn't quite work out the way I planned it. The first pop-up event had to be cancelled because of lockdown. So getting back into having a full 10-day festival is quite exciting. And it's just seeing the diversity and what we can do, and rebuilding those networks of events and finding new things to do. There's lots of stuff to do, and it's going to be exciting. It's going to be a fun time, although exhausting. It's already exhausting. But it's going to be fun, and there's lots of things to get on with. Yeah, we've got lots of good things going on. There's a lot of community. It's interesting. Each year is slightly different. Different themes emerge because we open it up to the community to bring in their own events. And this year, one of the themes that seems to be emerging is a lot of women-led rides and community events going on. And that's quite interesting to see that growth has taken place since the pandemic. The female groups coming together and going out riding together because they feel safer that way. We've got some great speakers coming in. So we've got a guy called Ian Walker, who's a psychology professor, who's done work on transport psychology and how drivers react to cyclists. But he's also discovered in his 40s that he was an athlete, which he never knew before. And so he holds the current world record for the fastest ride from the northernmost point of Europe to the southernmost point of Europe. And so, he's a really interesting speaker. I would recommend that one. We've got some poetry coming in. We haven't had poetry for a while. So we've got a poet coming in to talk about her poetry. She's in Bristol and cycles around and writes poetry thinks up poetry whilst she's cycling. We've got a guy who recorded the sounds of Britain. He went all over Britain, recording sounds from the soundscape of Britain with his bike, and produces music tracks at the back of that, and he's won multiple awards, so that's going to be a really interesting one as well. And we've got Kerry McPhee, who's a mountain biker from the islands, so she comes from the flattest of the Western Isles, but became an international level mountain biker. And she's setting off to do a thing called the Highland Trail 550, which is a 550-mile off-road mountain bike. It's sort of a race, and she's hoping to maybe set the course record. That's her aim. Whether she'll do it or not, that's another matter. It's an extremely difficult thing to ride, and it's very challenging, but she's hoping to do well in that. So that's another interesting voice to get out there. It's changing the world one pedal stroke at a time.